This is lesson 5 of Makharij and Sifaat series. In lessons from 1 to 4, we've discussed two areas of articulation, al-jawf and the throat. And we learned how to produce each letter coming from the different articulation points in these two areas. If you've missed any of these lessons, make sure to check them out before proceeding with this lesson. In this lesson, we'll start tackling a new area of articulation, which is the tongue. As a matter of fact, the tongue produces the most sounds. In fact, there are 18 letters that are produced from the tongue through 10 different articulation points, or makharij. To study these sounds easily and effectively, the tongue is divided into 4 areas. Each area has one or more articulation points. The 4 areas of the tongue are the deepest part of the tongue, the middle part, the edge of the tongue, and the tip of the tongue. In this lesson, we'll start with the deepest part. This part of the tongue produces 2 sounds for 2 letters, qaf and kaf, which are produced from 2 articulation points from that area. So let's start with qaf. Qaf is produced when the deepest part of the tongue makes contact with the soft palate. So there is touching between the tongue and the soft palate. The result is something that sounds like this. Aqqa, aqqa, قال يقول الفلق. If you're struggling with pronouncing qaf, or when you try to produce it, it sounds more like an English K rather than qaf. Then you should try a simple trick, which is to try and practice this sound when lying on your back. This process makes the contact between the tongue and the soft palate much easier. It also helps you to train the muscles to make the correct movement and pronounce qaf correctly. So, to produce qaf, the back of the tongue should be raised to make contact with the soft palate, and the sound will be produced. Moving on to kaf. To produce the Arabic kaf, it is almost the same movement made for qaf. So the back of the tongue is raised to touch the area between the soft palate and the hard palate. The hard palate is that bony area. It is also the roof of your mouth. So the Arabic kaf will be produced when these 2 organs touch. And it should sound like this. Ak, ak, ذكرك مناسككم. We should also notice that when the Arabic kaf is produced, there is a slight gush of air or breath that is produced along with it. We call that hams, and this is most clear when kaf is in sukun position. ذكرى, ذكرى, كذكركم, كذكركم. And to understand the mechanism even better, let's put the kaf side by side to the qaf and see what the differences are. First, we see that the movement of the back of the tongue is very similar, if not identical. The difference with qaf is that it is a little bit deeper into the mouth, as it is only touching the soft palate, and the sound is produced at that point. But for the kaf, the sound is produced when the deepest part of the tongue is touching the area between the soft palate and the hard palate. So it is a little bit behind the pronunciation point of qaf, closer to the opening of the mouth. Qa, qa, ke, ke, aqqa, ak. Now it is time to highlight some of the common mistakes and bad practices with these two sounds. As for the qaf, the common mistake that is usually made by beginners is producing qaf way deeper than it should be. This happens when you try to exaggerate the sound, so it becomes way heavier and more difficult to pronounce than it should. And the mistakes sound like this: qa, qa, qalu. This is also detected when you hear a hint of kha or ghain along with the sound of qaf. Qalu. While the tongue should be touching the soft palate to make it sound like a correct qaf, like this: qa, qalu. The second mistake is when qaf has sukoon and you don't apply qalqala on it. This leads to making qaf sound inaudible, as if it is not there, especially when it comes at the end of the word. The mistake sounds like this: al-haq, khalaq. So to show the qaf, you must apply qalqala to make sure that it is audible. Al-haq, khalaq. Now moving on to kaf. The most common mistake for kaf is applying qalqala on it, especially when it has sukoon. Like so: akbar, akbar, فَأَهْلَكْنَاهُمْ. So this is not the way to pronounce kaf. There should not be any qalqala. However, it should be pronounced with hams, as we indicated before: akbar, فَأَهْلَكْنَاهُمْ. And we'll highlight hams even more when we start talking about the sifat of letters. So these were the two letters that belong to the deepest part of the tongue. If you have any struggles with these two sounds or the sounds that have already been discussed in previous lessons, let us know about them in the comments so that I can make a lesson tackling these problems if necessary, insha'Allah. Thanks for watching. If you want to start reading and understanding the Quran in Arabic, then you should start your journey right here. And don't forget to check out my latest book, which goes perfectly with this free course. I'll leave the links for all of them in the description, so check them out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.